What is up, everybody? This is the second one of the day. I just switched over to the swim bait. I'm back on a Nida. I don't know if you guys saw one of the Facebook posts I put up the other day. I was sharing one of the JT Rods posts. This right here is the new 8-foot Panhandler Ultralight. Again, it's been designed as a high-end panfish rod. It's that 8-foot length. You guys know I've been throwing the 7-footer now for a couple years. I love that rod. I thought they were just going to extend that blank and make it into 8-foot. They didn't. This is a completely different blank. From about here, where the guides change, from here up is the same tip as the 7-footer, but from here back all the way into the butt, totally different rod. I've been throwing this swim bait now on it for about 5 minutes, had 2 fish, and it loads. You feel that tip start to load through, and they don't feel it yet. Like, neither of those fish were a hard take. They just came up behind that swim bait and gulped it like this, and that tip loads. But boy, there is so much backbone. Again, Joe Bricko, the owner, and the design team really were looking for a high-end perch and panfish rod, but they've got I can tell you already, they have got a real winner on their hands for anybody, for the smallmouth guys, for the walleye guys. I'm going to tell you right now, that fish wasn't huge by any means, neither was the first one. They were both 15 inches, give or take. But I can tell you already, the way it feels, there's no doubt it'll handle any walleye, any smallmouth you would want, depending on, that finesse presentation. I'm only fishing 6-pound test fluorocarbon leader because of that big load curve. It protects that light line. I could easily go down to 4-pound. If I was in ultra clear water conditions and I really needed to downsize that leader for that finesse stealth approach, no problem whatsoever. I guarantee it. You're going to see and hear a lot about this rod because they gave it to me to test it out, but they're going to have a hard time getting it back from me, I can tell you that. All right, we're back. I had a couple small walleyes in between. Just caught this bruiser. We're out here on Shackleton Shoals. See that bait down in there? That is the 2 1/4 inch Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw, which is basically just a tube. And what I did was I put because we're in deeper water right now and I'm just ticking rocks with it. So I put a 3/8 ounce Brian Hammond hammerhead football jig head inside the tube, and that way it gives it that big fat nose like that, and it really bunk, it bounces off those rocks nice. You guys know how much I love fishing these craw baits. Now that was a smallmouth, my second one of the day, but all 3 of my I got 1 walleye on a Ned rig and 2 so far on a swim bait. But could just as easily have been a walleye right there on this craw. And he thumped it, boy, good. This is also the first fish I've caught on this new demo rod, that the second rod that JT gave me. So this is the JTX Medium Light. Now I have 2 other medium lights. I have a 7.1, which I do this same technique with, and I have a 7.9, which is for throwing hammer harnesses, It's my jerkbait rod. That extra length on that rod, great tip. But this is the JTX 7.6 Mag Light. Now this was the rod that all of our tournament anglers on the JT team were demoing last year, and they were doing everything from, pitching jigs and live bait to fish, to fishing it with light bucktails, to fishing it with straight tail plastics underneath forward-facing sonar. And this rod won a lot of money on tour last year, and I see why, because the difference is that little bit extra tip length on that fish right there. I mean, it gives you that split second of give and then stick them. Really like this rod already, I can tell you right now. So let's get back to it and see if we can't do another one. Very next cast, same bait, different species. All right. Little guy, but my point is that you get in the right areas, these fish don't care if it's supposed to be a bass bait or a walleye bait. They don't care. What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining us today on this beautiful Tuesday. I got my buddy Paul in the back of the boat with me. We're on Oneida today. We're on the south side of Shackleton Shoal. I took the boat was still on the trailer, so I came down here and launched at South Shore. And we've been out here on these rock piles all morning. I guess really fishing for smallmouth. But we've caught walleyes. I bet you between the two of us, we got a dozen or more walleyes and only 2 smallies. A couple of rock bass, big sunfish. Freaking cracked the crawbait dragging on the bottom. So for most of the day, I've been switching up. I've got 2 rods going. I got the 2 rods that Matt Bain from JT Outdoors dropped off to me that we want to highlight and show. This rod in my hand right now, this is the 7'6" JTX Mag Medium Light. And mostly what I've been doing with this rod today is either dragon bottom with a B-hammer tackle hammerhead football jig with some sort of a crawbait on it, or I've been fishing the Ned rig with this rod. So I'm running 10-pound braid, thank you. 10-pound braid down to 10-pound fluorocarbon. And when I've been dragging bottom, I haven't done it all the time because I've already lost one bait in the bite to the rocks. Is I've been tying in. That sounded good. Another walleye. What are you fishing right now? You're fishing the crawbait too, right?
Yeah, the net.
Swing it. I'll get it. All right.
That's what happened to me if I touched it.
Let me see that bait back again. So crawbaits today have done it. So this is just a Ned craw. It's gonna run like this on the bottom and kind of flop, and it looks like that crayfish is up in protection mode. And I'll tell you, these walleyes have been eating these crayfish like crazy. And like I say, in a perfect world, we were more looking for smallies today, but I don't really care, and I love catching walleyes. It's just always interesting to me when. So it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. We're getting ready to get out of here. bright high sun. We've been on the top of these crowns so if you know Shackleton at all, it's a huge shoal network. We've only covered a little tiny bit of it. And it's just like this all over the place. And so I'll go through and motor around. And if I find rocks on top of these crowns, I'll get off the edge of them, spot lock, and then cast back to them. So the crown we're on right now is in 15 foot of water. It's flat, calm, high sun. You know, most walleye guys would say you're not going to get them there. And you're certainly not going to get them on a bass bait. Well, so that's what I've been throwing here recently. That's a B-hammer tackle, hammerhead football jig with a spring lock on it. And this is a Strike King baby rage craw that I've cut down as well. I've cut down 2 body segments out of it, so it's a nice compact little bait. All morning, and I showed it to you earlier, and I broke it off in the bottom, and I just haven't rigged up another one. I've been fishing that Great Lakes Finesse juvie craw. It's a 2-inch tube, hollow crayfish tube, and I shoved the football head up inside it as opposed to a tube jig up in there. It gives it a little bit more profile. They were munching that. I mean, I caught 5 or 6 walleyes on that and a smallmouth before it went away to the rocks. So yeah, we're about on our last cast here, and we're gonna make a mile. So yesterday, I didn't do a video yesterday or Sunday. I took the Robalo back. We're back in my boat. Home sweet home. You know, it's so nice to have my boat back. So I took the Robalo back. I did a nice walkthrough video. What a beautiful boat to fish out of. Ride's beautiful, amazing to cruise in. You know, very nice. I was thoroughly pleased with it. You know, and if I had more time and if it was mine and I was setting the whole thing up and yada yada, you know, I'm sure it would be even better. But I got my boat back Saturday night. I was gonna fish Sunday, but I had to get some work done. I finished the job Saturday. I did another small job on Sunday, and then Paul Messina and I, who always fish on Mondays, I had half of mine. I've been seeing everybody catching so many big walleyes out in Lake Erie. I've never been out there before. I have kind of a little tiny break in my work schedule, so I called him. I'm like, "Can you get away? Well, let's run out to Lake Erie tomorrow." This was Sunday, and he couldn't. He had meetings. He's got the new restaurant being built. I totally understand. It was short notice. But we've been talking about going down and fishing Skinny Atlas. His family's got a camp down there. So we ended up going down there for the morning, and I talked to Don Nelson, a friend of mine, friend of the channel, who lives down that way, fished Skinny his whole life. And he gave me 4 or 5 good spots to get started on. I went there. We found fish in every spot. I had them on the screen. I had them on forward facing. Paul caught 1 smallmouth early in the morning, a little guy. Had 2 other fish on that he lost on the way to the surface, all on blades. We were looking for walleyes down there. We were looking for some of these big walleyes we've been seeing. And I never had a bite all day. Nothing. 0, zip, zilch, nada. I'm a little bummed out about that. I really thought we were going to go down there and do something. Every spot we went to, we had fish in. I'm watching them on the screen, lures going, watching them on forward facing, lures going right through them, nothing. So, I don't know. That was a little disconcerting. So the boat was still on the trailer. So Paul said, he said to me the other day he wanted to fish today. So I said, well, I'll leave the boat on the trailer and we'll come down to South Shore because I haven't fished Shackleton all year. And this never disappoints. I mean, we've had a pretty fun morning. You know, plenty of action. There is a few boats around, but again, this shoal complex is so big, you could spend a whole season exploring it and still probably not get it all. But I do love it down here. I do love the finesse fish. You could do anything you want down here. You could easily be drifting this just up and down these humps and throwing, you know, bucktails, blades, whatever you wanted. Some of these humps have some weeds on it. You could be throwing a hammer harness in there through those weeds. I mean, you really could do whatever you want. We're fortunate on this lake. We've got so many different options, whether it be species, whether it be location, whether it be technique. You can do damn near anything you want. All right, we're getting out of here. 9:15. I got to get to work. We will see you tomorrow somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. We'll see you somewhere. Keep your tip up.